Fast Friday rolling on a cool, good-looking afternoon from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying ready to roll as we set the field for the Lenox Industrial Tools 301. Our qualifying session this afternoon presented by Golden Corral. Weather forecast, well, things look great. 89 degrees, 38% humidity, and we have got sunny skies this afternoon. Glad to have you with us again, everybody, with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds. I'm Adam Alexander. You know, Darrell, they call this place the Magic Mile. Some drivers would disagree. What makes a qualifying lap here so difficult?
Well, first of all, I thought you were talking about Larry and I, cool and good looking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, baby, nailed that one. But what makes it so tough is these straightaways are so long. You get this incredible amount of straightaway speed, and that's where you run into trouble, overdriving these corners, particularly on a qualifying lap. Drive in there too hard, you got to get heavy on the brake. Car slides up the hill, car won't turn, driver has his hands full. That's why you have to slow down to go faster here. You have to remind yourself that when you leave pit road. The other thing is, as the sun shines down on this joint and it lays here without any cars on it, this track is really slick. When you first go out on it, these early guys are going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I know when we go to a short track like Bristol or like Martinsville, we talk about the importance of qualifying because of track position. Yeah, this is a much bigger racetrack. It's twice the size of Bristol or Martinsville, but it's one of the shortest races that we run. Only 301 laps. Teams can maybe make this race on Sunday in 3 or 4 pit stops. So track position from the drop of the green flag is so critical, and that comes from qualifying here today. I think that's one reason. In that practice, of course, I like the schedule we have where you can worry about getting ready to race tomorrow. I think that's one reason we saw most of these drivers and teams focus so much on qualifying in that hour-and-a-half practice earlier today.
This is one tough racetrack. There is no doubt about it. And now we take a look at our Golden Corral track description. What do you see here, Larry?
Well, it's 2 to 7 degrees. It has variable banking, but that's not much, very much banking whatsoever. That you can almost call that flat, but I go right back to what Darrell said. Just as a crew chief, encouraging that driver to be a little patient, but can you be aggressive too on this qualifying run?
The balance of patience and aggression. And Darrell talked about the fact it's difficult to be the first guy out, the guinea pig, if you will, when it comes to a qualifying run after this track has been sitting idle for a while. The first man to take a turn at it, Mike Bliss. He was slowest of the 44 cars in practice earlier today. And to give you a state of comparison on looking at the numbers, Mike Bliss, 29.542 seconds in practice earlier today. Green flag goes in the air and qualifying underway at New Hampshire.
Yeah, Adam, we used to seal this racetrack, put that black sealer on it. And I think that sealer and the stuff they put on this track in the past, it just creates that slick feeling that you get when it sits here without any cars on it for a while.
Whoa, he got sideways and slapped the wall.
I rest my case.
Like one of the drivers that will have to qualify on time, 44 drivers for 43 spots.
Not uncommon to see a driver use both laps in qualifying here at New Hampshire. The first lap for Mike Bliss, just over 30 seconds, 30.079. We'll see if he can do any better on the second lap.
Yeah, it was 29.54 his best lap in practice, so got a little work to do on this second one. Keep it off the wall, it might improve.
And I'll be anxious to see if these drivers do indeed pick up on their second lap. I get a feeling with this tire combination that Goodyear brought here, it's a fairly hard compound tire, and you throw in the fact about air pressure buildup, possibly pick up on that second lap.
Yeah, Larry, I always felt like a tire guy here was worth his weight in gold because that air pressure and what you do to those tires to qualify with, that's the key to making a good fast lap around here.
One down, 43 to go. There you see the numbers for Mike Bliss. He's the first out in qualifying at New Hampshire. Joe Nemechek, the 11th driver to go out in qualifying here for the Sprint Cup Series at New Hampshire.
Whew. A little tail happy there, but that seems to be common off of turn 2 over there right now.
Joe got his very first career Sprint Cup Series win here back in 1999, one of 4 career wins in the top series.
Pretty good little lap he put down.
Yeah, he can breathe easy. He's in the show. In fact, he's the quickest of the bunch. 29.342. Yes, it is at the top of the board. Chris?
Well, Marcus Ambrose has been qualifying well this year. Since we took over TNT, you've had 2 poles. Can you put the 9 car on pole today?
Well, the Stanley team's been trying really hard today, but this is not one of my better tracks, and you know, we don't have a lot of speed going into qualifying. We've made some changes. It might work out. I'm going to give it my best. I'm just going to drive it like I stole it and see what happens.
There's not much banking here. Does any of that help a road racer?
Not really. For me, this place is really hard to get a hold of. The corners are long. You know, you got to roll a lot through the center of the corner, and the cars just always feel really edgy. You know, edgy in, edgy off. Just with, you know, you got to get the back end of the car rotating for you through the center, and you got to try to save it in and off the corner every time. So it doesn't feel like a road course to me, especially not what I'm used to.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
And Darrell, I think you made a great point in that first practice session. I heard you talking about it can't feel like a road course because you're not downshifting going in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tracks, you know, I think braking is the key. These straightaways are so long, and you think about Pocono. Now, they do shift at Pocono, so that's kind of a roval. But here, no, it's not a road course. This is just a tough, flat track, what it is.
Jeff Burton, fresh off a runner-up finish at Daytona last week and coming to a racetrack where he's had a great deal of success. More wins here than any other driver. 4 times he's gone to victory lane.
Well, 29-10, he becomes the first driver to go faster than what he ran in practice earlier. But in his interview, he said, we found some things mechanically and feel like we've helped our efforts.
See if he can pick up on the second lap. Jeff Burton gets the checkered flag, and he goes into the 28-second bracket at 28.972.
They found some things that really helped.
Yes, it did.
All right, Adam, what's today?
Today is Friday the 13th.
And who goes out next?
Well, it looks to me, if you're saying that, it's got to be car number 13.
And what position is he going out in?
He's going out in the 13th position. So you know what that means.
He's
going to start where on Sunday?
13th.
I know what's on his mind when he starts going down his numbers. I think it has something to do with February the 17th, 1989.
Yeah, yeah.
And from what I understand, there are 3 Friday the 13th on the calendar in 2012. There are 13 weeks between them. So in case you want to play along. Hey, don't you say anything. You started this, Waltrip.
Well, I'm wanting the man to settle on the pole, but if he doesn't, I hope he's 13th.
But I'm glad we stayed for Casey Mears because this race team, 4 consecutive top 20 finishes. Okay, I know we don't promote top 20s, but when you look at the competition in Sprint Cup, a top 20 finish by a single car operation is actually a pretty good day on race day.
Yeah, they've been running really good in doing that at all different types of racetracks, which makes it very impressive.
They got off to a bad start with this new, you know, we switched to Ford, and they got off to kind of bad start. He and Booty Barker as crew chief. They have rallied well.
First lap put Casey Mears second, 29.336 seconds. We'll see how he does here on lap number 2.
Yeah, he had trouble, that roll in the middle,
Yeah.
through the middle of turn 3 and 4, and that really hurt his lap.
Second lap, a little bit slower for Casey Mears. He remains second behind Jeff Burton. There are the numbers. Quick lap, 129.834 miles per hour at the Magic Mile. Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, a couple of drivers coming up on speed. 17th driver out in qualifying at New Hampshire is Travis Kvapil. His teammate Landon Castles currently sits second. And we'll see what driver 93 can do.
And I'm not sure we give this organization enough credit, BK Racing. Talked about Landon Castle sitting there second right now in the 83. This is his teammate. I was listening to Doug Richard, who's overseeing this operation, on a radio interview the other day. This deal didn't even become a deal until late January. And, of course, they went there with the Red Bull points with both teams, both drivers. But they had to stay locked in the top 35, and they truly have done that through these first 18 races.
They've had some pretty impressive runs, considering the conditions and the way things started for them.
Well, you talk about getting behind and how hard it is to catch up. They were behind before they started, but yet they have found their way to some success, and you got to set achievable goals, and certainly they have done that, and they have had some very impressive runs. In fact, Travis Kvapil at his first lap puts himself right up behind his teammate Landon Castle. Kvapil is third at a 29.11.
Yeah, because all these teams will tell you, if you bought cars from last year, you're a year behind. And so even though they had equipment, they had to update every bit of it.
And then just throw in the fact of fuel injection in 2012. That really put a lot of these teams behind.
Yes, sir.
Quapple's second lap, a little bit slower. So the lap of record puts him in at 29.112. He is third, and now we get an Armor All pit report down to Chris Neville.
Well, Adam, sometimes you know exactly what you're getting into when you put those belts on. Other times, it's a bit of a mystery. In that first practice, Carl Edwards told us that they worked on the qualifying setup for that entire 90-minute session, only coming up with a time that put him 15th quick on the chart. So when we talked to him at the end of the session, he said they were going to take the entire setup off the 16, put it on the 99, and hopefully that would be the secret sauce to get that car to the front. But obviously, he's going to strap into this car, and he's not going to know what he has when he goes down to turn 1. Daryl, how uneasy is that as a driver when you go down into turn 1 with a setup that you know nothing about in qualifying?
Takes a lot of trust. That's all I can tell you. You got to really trust that crew chief and the team that they've given you something that you could, that you can work with.
And Daryl, wouldn't you say at a track like this, as we watch David Ruderman in the 10 start his qualifying run, where you can pick up and run faster on lap 2, that gives him a chance to fill it out at least on lap 1?
Yeah, but you got to put out of your mind that it wasn't very good when I practiced. Most of the time you go into a qualifying session and as a driver you don't really think about what you had in practice. You're just hoping that what you got for qualifying is what you need, and that's the way you approach it.
First lap for David Ruderman was a good one, 29.016 seconds. Puts him just off of what Jeff Burton ran, and looks like Ruderman staying in here. He wants to put his name at the top of the board.
Good job last week at Daytona. Finished 11th. Very nice run.
By far his best finish of the year.
Yes, sir.
First lap is better. So Ruderman stays in the second spot. The speed for the 10 car, 131.266 miles per hour. There's a couple of drivers awfully good at New Hampshire, still to come in qualifying. Marcus Ambrose on track, 22nd driver to go out in qualifying this afternoon here at the Magic Mile. Joey Logano is quickest, and Bobby Labonte second right now, Matt.
Now, earlier today, we talked to Kevin Harvick. He didn't know that there was a new tire here. Carl Edwards participated in the tire test. He didn't know. You were there, Bob. You do remember you were there, right?
Kinda. I hit the wall really hard, so I think I remember part of it. I was there, but I think I was on a new tire at the time. So, yeah, we unloaded here with a different race car, obviously, than what we tested, and it was really tight to begin with. And guys really did a great job. Luke and Associates on the car on the hood this weekend, and got to thank them for everything. But my guys really worked hard this weekend to start off with, because it was unreal how tight it was to start with, even though we knew it was a different tire, but it just wasn't going to come around, so we had to really make some big changes on it. So thanks to Todd and Cole and everybody for doing that. And tomorrow practice we'll see what we got.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
We talked about Todd Berrier and his leadership of this 47 team. Berrier led Kevin Harvick to a win from the pole here back in 2006.
Marcus Ambrose on lap 1, third quickest, just in front of his teammate Eric Almirola. Don't think he's going to go any quicker, though, here on lap 2, doesn't look like.
No, he's not. Both of them down in the 28-second bracket, 28.811 seconds for Marcus Ambrose, and that means a speed of 132.200 miles per hour.
Yeah, 28.165, 135.232 is the track record. Don't think we're going to see that today.
Probably not. There have been 23 cars on track in Sprint Cup Series qualifying here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The 24th to go out, David Reagan in the 34 car. Reagan earlier today under 29 seconds at 28.887. And if he could back that up, it would put him up inside the top 5.
On a pretty good little run here halfway down the back straightaway. He able to get the power down and stay in it. This is going to be a top 5 run possibly for David.
Yeah, the back end really came around nice for him there in 3 and 4.
Opening lap puts him 6th.
Yeah, I don't know that I could say the car was loose looking, just nice and free. Had that turning look to it.
Yeah, it looked like the back end came around. He didn't have to do anything. Just
didn't have to chase it.
When he got out there, nailed the throttle.
Most of the cars have been quickest on their opening lap. But David Reagan right now got something pretty good going on lap number 2.
There's where he lost a little ground on lap 1, but it definitely looked better through there. Jumps it up to third quickest with this 3014.
Yeah, how about that? 28.797 seconds for the 34. That's 132.264 miles per hour. And Darrell, you said he got loose a little bit.
Yeah, well, he just gets free at him, and of course there he's loose. That's up off the corner right there. Larry and I were kind of watching him float the thing through the middle of 3 and 4, but yeah, he got a little bit loose off of turn 2 over there.
Solid qualifying run though for this team.
Very nice. I think it just shows that car was nice and neutral all the way around.
Yeah, third quickest, and we're past the halfway point of this session.
And he was running for the Roush Fenway organization here last fall when all 4 of their cars finished inside the top 10. Now Regan Smith goes out to make his qualifying run. 28-year-old from New York has had some tough times in 2012 and would love to get it turned around in this tough place to make it happen.
Well, I was reading all week leading up to the being here today that they were going to make some pretty major changes with this team, but I haven't heard anything happening.
No, I haven't, but I did read where he was talking this week like, you know what, we have to regroup. We're halfway through 2012. If you look at his last 6 races, he's been caught up in 4 accidents in those 6 races, sitting 26th in the points. I think the rest of 2012 will be preparing for 2013 for this group.
And if you think back to last year, this car was a pole contender every week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this cat was up there fighting for a pole just about every week.
Pretty good lap there on lap 1, though. He's second quickest.
And that will be his lap of record, 28.769 seconds for Regan Smith. Puts him 7/1000ths of a second behind Joey Logano for the top spot.
Sometimes those owners are smarter than we think they are. You know, a little threat sometimes.
That's all you need.
Junior Johnson did that to me and Brewer.
Well, we talk about winning at tough places. Regan Smith did get his only career victory at Darlington, so it's not out of the realm of possibility he couldn't go out and deliver here on Sunday. And here's Sam Hornish Jr. in that 22 car for the 2nd consecutive week. This week, though, he gets to practice and qualify the car. Last week he found out about 3 hours till race time he was going to replace A.J. Allmendinger, who's been temporarily suspended for violating NASCAR's substance abuse policy.
Yes, Sam has 6 Sprint Cup Series starts here, and it's been a pretty good racetrack for him. Has a couple of top 10 finishes. Started 8th here in June of 2010. It's almost like these flatter type of racetracks when Sam was full-time in Sprint Cup seemed to suit him better.
Yeah, he liked Phoenix, he liked here, but he's stepping into a lot better situation this time, Larry, than he was when he was in Cup before in that 77 car. These cars are so much better than what he drove then, and he's going to be able to do a lot better job for this team. And
he appears to have a much broader perspective now than what he had at that point in time in his racing career. Sam's 7th on his opening lap, 28.966 seconds.
Even Pocono, he always ran well at Pocono. In fact, his best career finish was at Pocono in Sprint Cup.
See what the double deuce can turn out in lap number 2. A little bit.
Picked up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Stayed the same, though.
But did not move out of the 7th position. 26 cars have been out in qualifying. Joey Logano continues to sit atop the board. And Jamie McMurray on track at New Hampshire. His teammate Juan Pablo Montoya has already made his qualifying run. He's back in the 13th position. Let's go to Chris.
Well, Adam, I spoke with Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Alan Gustafson, earlier today, and he said last year Jeff had the car to beat, but you had alternator problems in July, and then the team didn't get enough fuel in it in the September race. So obviously you guys have had strong cars here. How's the car this weekend?
You know, a little bit different race tire coming back here, so we're definitely playing around with some different combinations, trying to learn what this tire is going to want. So today, you know, there was good and not so good. I thought at times we were really good, and other times we could have been a little bit better. And it's just a real fine line between having the grip and not having the grip. And so I feel optimistic about qualifying here with the DuPont Chevrolet, and really optimistic, just like you said, based on last year, we ran so good here. This has been a great track for me over the years in this 24 team, and I feel really good coming into this weekend that we're gonna be strong for the race.
Well, Jeff Gordon's got 3 wins here, all of them back in the 1990s.
You know, it's amazing about Jeff Gordon, 3 wins, but also 5 runner-up finishes. Certainly, he's a driver that knows how to get it done when it comes to Loudon, New Hampshire. Jamie McMurray, 11th in qualifying.
Yeah, one thing I will say, they just got Jeff Gordon's car through inspection, and he's only about 5 or 6 drivers away from going. It just came out of the garage on the pit road.
And they continue to push it down the pit lane and get him in position. Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Get unlimited access through the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app on your Android-powered device. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Ryan Newman on track, and he's got more poles than anybody when it comes to racing here at the Magic Mile. 6 times he has led them to the green flag.
Now, he's doing double duty here this weekend, but it's not in the Nationwide Series. He's running in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race. He got a couple of wins here in the Modified Series.
I think he seems to enjoy that almost as much as he does racing here on Sunday afternoon.
That's because you can manhandle that thing. He looks like a modified driver, you know.
He does.
He looks like he can just take a hold of that thing and whoop it around there.
Got that top 5 finish at Daytona, which was his first top 10 since the win at Martinsville almost 3 months ago.
Told you about his 6 poles here, one of them coming 1 year ago when he paid it off getting the checkered flag. And right now, he's the quickest man in New Hampshire, going quicker than Joey Logano, 28.578 seconds. That's fast.
He moved the bar a lot, didn't he?
That's getting it done right there.
Yes, it is.
That may not be pole, but they're going to have to get up there and get after it to beat that, because that's exactly what Kyle Busch ran in practice.
That puts a little pressure on the drivers yet to make their qualifying run.
Yeah, he bettered Joey Logano by roughly 0.2 of a second.
16 drivers left, and they'll all be chasing Ryan Newman, who laid down a good one. 28.578 seconds. That's 133.277 miles per hour. Matt?
Well, as what's Billy Joel say?
Keeping the faith.
He was keeping the faith, hoping that 20 cars stay on the pole. When you look at the second quarter of the year, though, Joey, you guys have really had a game changer as far as your performance. Can you pinpoint 1 or 2 things?
There's a lot of different things that's helped us improve through this last 10-week stretch or so, and a lot of it's Jason Ratcliffe getting these things figured out, and both of us getting each other figured out, and building better race cars at Joe Gibbs Racing and all that. So lots of improvement right there, and it's showing up in our finishes. And we had to work really hard today on our Home Depot car. We didn't unload where we wanted to, and we've been a little bit behind the 8 ball, and we're trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. And we improved to some for qualifying. We're not to where we need to be yet, but we got a good direction for tomorrow in practice. So looking on the ups right now.
They have certainly turned it around, hoping to hold on to one of those wild card spots.
You know what's funny is my brother gives Joe Gibbs Racing a lot of credit for the improvement in performance at his teams, and I think they might need to go visit with Michael now and see what they've been doing, because I mean, you know, for a few races there, for most of this year, Michael's teams have been outperforming Gibbs's, so that collaboration works both ways, I'm sure, and I think they're picked up some notes from each other.
Speaking of picking up notes, I think the notes that Carl Edwards and his crew chief Bob Osborne picked up from Matt Pusch and Greg Biffles paid off, because look at the tracker here on this qualifying run.
Fast lap for Carl Edwards. He needs to start up front, and he's got a pretty good position. He ends up 7th quick. Second lap a bit quicker, 28.814 seconds. That's 132.186 miles per hour. 15 drivers still to come. Some pretty big names. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch both were fast in practice. Matt?
And catching up with Clem Boyer, we're trying to hurry to get the interview in before you think you're going to get knocked off. You don't think that's going to hold up?
No, I just got in way too hard into one and got loose in and had to wait on the throttle forever. I can't believe it ran that good. I felt like I blew it pretty bad, but 5-hour energy Toyotas, it's good. We always run good here, and I'm looking forward to the race. It was really good in race trim, what race trim we did run in practice. I think that'll be 9th or 10th.
Well, Adam, we have Larry and I, you know, we call Jeff Gordon Big Daddy.
Yeah.
I call him the master. And we have Go Daddy. And now we have New Daddy.
That's right. That's a good point.
We got some daddies playing the game.
We were teasing Kevin Harvick earlier in practice. We said there's no truth to the rumor that Keelan, the newest addition to the Harvick family, is going to be in a go-kart racing this fall. They're going to hold him off at least till spring before they get him behind the wheel.
He's already on Twitter. It's like that little baby that does those commercials, you know, sitting in the high chair. He's already on Twitter.
And he's proud of Daddy today because Kevin just put up a lap at 28.666 seconds. And that's 132.868 miles per hour. He is third.
I do know what his nickname will be, though, when he gets older.
You think Otis?
Otis.
It's already started.
We did tell a story during Nationwide Series practice. Kevin said, of everything that I've accomplished in my life that I'm proud of, that those moments don't hold a candle to becoming a dad and seeing that little baby's face when it was born last Sunday.
Yeah, there ain't no trophy as big as that one, I can tell you. There's none that you always hang on to that one, that memory.
You guys know it far better than I, but we can tell Kevin it just gets better and better and more entertaining for sure.
It does.
We told you about Jeff Gordon's success here, 3 wins. And we've been talking the last 5 or 6 weeks about this 24 team. If they can just get a couple of victories, they're going to be a threat in the chase. The only problem is we're running out of races, 8 to go to the chase, and they're still yet to get to victory lane.
You got to get to the end before you can win. Well, he got run over last week by a car running 15th, and he was leading up and in the front pack.
And he was hitting pit road.
And going to pit road.
That's when you know you're having a bad year.
Just when you thought you had seen it all. Jeff Gordon's opening lap puts him third behind Boyer and Newman.
He did say this week that each race that goes by without a win, the more risk we are going to have to take to try to get that win.
But you know what? When you say that, and I think about Jeff Gordon, I think about Allen, they just don't strike me as the kind of guys that are going to go too far.
Risk takers.
Too much of a risk, you know? They're just too solid.
There are the numbers for Jeff Gordon. Opening lap was the quickest, 133.198 miles per hour. And Alan Gustafson has won here twice with Mark Martin and Kyle Busch. So both driver and crew chief, no success here. Let's check out an American ethanol fast fact. Stuart Haas Racing swept the poles and races at New Hampshire last year. Newman won both poles, won the race in July. It was Smoke who took the checkered flag here in September after starting in the 20th position.
And you speak of Alan Gustafson, and he won at Phoenix with 3 different drivers. He had that joint figured out. Similar racetrack, 1 mile flat racetrack. Once they repave Phoenix, I'm not sure he has the same magic there, but he should be able to keep it here.
You know, with that win at Daytona last weekend for Tony Stewart, this is big numbers in Sprint Cup. He has won 8 of our last 28 Sprint Cup Series races. That's pretty huge when you think about it. That's tough to do.
And Larry, I don't understand this, and I don't think he does either, but from June until September, half of his wins have come in that period of time, when we all consider that to be the hot months of the season. And Kyle and I were laughing about his workout program. All these other guys are out huffing and puffing, and Tony's just kind of sitting back in a lounge chair watching them.
They all go get a workout during the week, and then Smoke gives them a workout on Sunday afternoon or Saturday night last week at Daytona.
Pretty good lap. Lap 1 puts him 4th quickest.
And lap number 2, a little bit quicker, but he doesn't move up the charts any. 28.651 seconds will be the quickest lap for Tony Stewart. That's 132.938 miles per hour. And now we go to Chris Neville one more time.
Well, last week, Greg Biffle played the perfect wingman to Matt Kenseth at the Daytona race. This week, all about yourself, and you've got a great car. You're going to be the second to last guy going out here.
Yeah, just surprised it's not cooling down any faster. You know, it's only qualifying started 340, but we do have a great car. And, you know, I just hope that we put down a solid lap, because starting up front here, good pit selection is real important for your day on Sunday.
Well, Matt, we're coming down to the end here.
3 wins for Jeff Gordon here at New Hampshire, currently 3rd on the board, and he's looking over the different lap times. So grade your fast lap there, Jeff.
Well, I'm trying to figure out my fast lap is the first lap or the second lap, because the first lap I got real loose coming off of 4 coming to the green, but the overall lap felt great. I just felt like I lost some time there coming to the green, so tried to make it up on that second lap, but I don't know what the lap was. Yeah, it was a pretty decent. I mean, car felt good. All the adjustments that we made in practice paid off right there, and you know, decent lap. So hopefully it stays in the top 10, and well, I guess it will stay in the top 10, and we'll just see what happens.
Friday the 13th, you're not superstitious in any way, are you?
You know, through all the stuff that we've had going on this year, I don't know if any of it. So far, Friday the 13th has been okay. So, I still believe you got to make your luck, you know, based on all the hard work and preparation out there. So I don't think a date is gonna make the difference of how good this team is.
All right, good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
If he isn't superstitious, he might ought to start.
Pretty good qualifying run by his teammate. Jimmy Johnson is third, 28.583 seconds. That's 133.254 miles per hour. We're getting down to it at New Hampshire. Denny Hamlin knows the way to victory lane when it comes to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll see if he's got the quick way around in qualifying. He's the 36th driver out. In the session, only 9 remain. Clint Boyer the quickest, 28.569 seconds, the time to beat.
Well, Darian Grubb, the crew chief, you know, he knows how to get a car around here. He knows how to set a car up for here. So, you know, you'd think that would transfer over to this 11 car a little bit anyway.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I know they had that top 5 finish at Kentucky, but 3 of their last 4 races, they have really hit a bump in the road. And, of course, a couple of accidents, including Daytona, and then the issue at Sonoma with the suspension after he was caught up in a wreck. So they've hit a little bit of a bump here of late.
The good news for them, and now he goes to the top of the board. Denny Hamlin's opening lap, 28.552 seconds. He is quickest.
Our top 5 right now, we talked about it, a 55, a 56, a 57, a 58, and a 59.
You better be on your game. Remember we were talking about that 3/10?
Oh, yeah.
That'll get you nowhere, will it?
Yeah. Looks like Darian's notebook's still working okay.
Yes, it is.
Second lap, a couple of tenths off the first one, but Denny Hamlin is at the top of the board.
What did he finish here last year, Darian? First and second, the 2 races that we had here?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good average.
133.399 miles per hour for Denny Hamlin. Matt?
And when you look at different drivers, especially at certain racetracks, and here at New Hampshire, Jimmy Johnson, always strong. July race, you've never finished outside the top 15. What do you think is your strongest suit when you come to a place like this?
It's just really a racer's track, and I think you have to deal with maybe some handling conditions you don't want. It's tough to get the car solid at both ends of the track all the way through this long corner that we have, and you just got to search for lines and find some, find a different rhythm at times. So qualifying's doing the hardest thing for me to get right here, and I think I had a really good shot at the pole, and I came down to the 3 and 4 end and messed it up, but hopefully it'll keep us in the top 10.
Currently 4th, guys.
Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Not bad in practice earlier today.
Oh, tracker's going crazy. He says, let me see now. Is that 1,000th here, 1,000th there?
Just so tight right in there in the top 10.
Settled 6th on the opening lap for Jr., 28.628 seconds.
18 races. He still completed every single lap this year. It came close last week, but he was able to make it across the finish line after being involved in that wreck.
I don't think that's ever been done.
I mean, what they have done is impressive.
As far as a full season.
Yeah, I mean, to go this far into a season, and I don't think it's ever been done.
And the tracker didn't work out on lap number 2, so Junior stays 6th of the 37 that have been out in qualifying. 28.628 seconds. That's 133.045 miles per hour. Sunday, NASCAR race day, is a must-see. DW, the King, and Jeff Gordon explain why the driver-crew chief relationship is so critical. Plus Smoke, Rowdy, the Rocket Man, and New Englander Joey Logano join us live. NASCAR race day, fueled by Sunoco from New Hampshire, Sunday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
Yep, join us Sunday and ride along with the King. It's a pretty good ride.
Now, you talked earlier about Michael Waltrip Racing, Darrell, and all the success they have had. One of the big contributors, Brian Vickers. 3 starts this season, 2 resulting in top 5s. 1 at Bristol, 1 on the road course at Sonoma, and he was awfully good in practice here earlier today, and the tracker suggests he will back it up in qualifying.
Yeah, I text Michael every week, and I say, bro, can you imagine how good these cars are running? And it's the same answer every week. Amazing.
And I was glad to see Michael get that finish he got last week at Daytona, top 10 finish ninth in this car.
Vickers a pole here in 2005, and the opening lap going to put him 9th.
Yeah, this 55 car, 8 races, it could muddy the waters a little bit on this whole owner-driver in the chase situation, because right now they're sitting 12th in the owner points. And, oh, by the way, old Mark Martin comes back a couple of weeks for Indy and then the next week at Pocono.
And you'll see Brian Vickers back in the car at Watkins Glen. He'll be at Martinsville later this season, as well as Bristol.
It's a potent little lineup they got going.
Yes, it is.
And as we talked earlier in practice, Rodney Childers, the crew chief, does a great job of battling the three-headed monster. 132.425 miles per hour. Vickers is 9th. Matt?
Third here a year ago was Denny Hamlin, and I saw you tweet earlier asking if there was a gym nearby. So is that a good sign the back is getting better?
Yeah, I got to do my homework. No, but great run for our FedEx Freight Toyota. Mike Wheeler, our engineer, stepping in for Darren Gross. Wheels stepping in and doing a good job crew chiefing this weekend. So, you know, got to congratulate Darian on the addition to his family. I know he's all excited. So hopefully we're going to have a great weekend and obviously give ourselves a shot to get a win. This has been a great racetrack for us in the past. So love coming here.
Back going to be good, do you think, on Sunday?
Yeah, we're good to go. You know, really, I feel today as if I would in any other day. It's just when I get those spasms, it takes about a week to get over. So glad that's over with, and now we can move on and get recovered.
All right, good luck Sunday. Thank you.
Back spasms, a hard shot and a big accident at Daytona, but Denny Hamlin no worse for wear.
Hello.
Martin Truex Jr. not hurting either. He goes to second, 28.565 seconds on the opening lap, right behind Hamlin.
It was just brought to my attention. You know, we only have the 2 Dodge drivers, Brad Keselowski and Sam Hornish Jr. right now. They're 17th and 19th. But the fastest Ford is actually David Reagan in that 34 car that's 14th. It's all about Toyotas and Chevrolets. Now, Ford has one more bullet. And that's Greg Biffle, who will be going next to last.
I put a little money on old Biff because I watched him make that qualifying run. He's got a little something for him, I think.
I had 2 words on that qualifying run. No fear. He let it hang out.
Or no brakes.
Martin Truex second right now behind Denny Hamlin, who leads him at New Hampshire. 39 cars have gone in Sprint Cup Series qualifying at New Hampshire.
This little car was pretty quick in practice. Stayed up in the top 5 or 6 most of the practice session.
Yeah, because we are down to our fast 5. Paul Menard was 5th quickest in that practice earlier.
28.552 seconds, the time to beat, and that one laid down by Denny Hamlin. First lap for Paul Menard, 10th. He's a couple of tenths off the pole at 28.730 seconds.
Yeah, that's a little slower than he practiced, actually.
You know, Paul is sitting 13th in the points right now. He only has those 4 top 10 finishes, looking for his first top 5, and we are headed to Indy here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, you got to know that he's licking his chops. Going back home to Indiana, and he'll be the defending champion. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
This weekend, he's got to feel good about his crew chief, Slugger Labby, who grew up here in New England, knows what it's all about to race at this track. 132.572 miles per hour. Paul Menard stays 10th. Matt?
And catching up with Martin Truex Jr., this racetrack, probably more than any other track, very special for the Truex family. Can you keep this car on the front row, do you think? You can dodge enough bullets?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a perfect lap. We missed it just a little bit. I messed up a little, and we made some changes to the car and messed it up some more. So there was definitely more out there, and I could have done a little bit better job. But the Napa Toyota's been fast all day, and looking forward to getting it tuned in tomorrow and hopefully make some more memories of this place. I love coming up here. Looking forward to the race Sunday.
So here's Casey Kane, the first of 4 drivers remaining. And look at that tracker all the way to the left. Now it starts to slide.
Well, I heard him get against the rev limiter going into 3, and that's a good. Drivers love that because that means he got in there better and a little further ahead all day. Let's see where he ends up here pretty quick.
How about the top? 28.551 seconds. 1,000th of a second quicker than Denny Hamlin.
Oh, he just stomped Hamlin right there with that 1,000th of a second.
You know, so much was said about Jimmy Johnson going to Charleston to run that triathlon last Sunday. Boy, Casey, I think he drove through the rev limiter that time getting into turn 3.
I don't know. That thing made a funny dive on him.
P1 on your first lap there, 28.55. So.
Well, what I was going to say, Casey actually went in and participated in that triathlon and actually beat Jimmy Johnson by 20 seconds in those 3 activities.
by 20 seconds in a triathlon and by 1/1000th of a second on the track here.
Yeah, that was in a 600-yard swim, 12 miles on a bike, and a 5K run.
That's a great way to spend your Sunday morning after 400 miles at Daytona on Saturday night.
I might be able to keep up. I might be able to tag along on the bike, but the rest of it they could have.
Here's Kurt Busch, another one of the 3-time winners at New Hampshire. Been close here on a number of other occasions. 3rd quick in practice earlier today.
Didn't look real sporty in 1 right there. The car just didn't look like it wanted to cut too good.
Yeah, you can see on the tracker he's outside the top 15 right now. It's coming back a little bit.
Yeah, the car just looked like the front tires didn't hook up into turn 1 on that first lap there. Cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, the opening lap is 12th, 28.735 seconds. He's a couple of tenths behind what those guys ran at the front of the field.
This looks better. Got in there better.
I just say every time I see Kurt Busch right now, I just think about that run he had in the Nationwide Series race last Friday night at Daytona.
Goodness.
What an unbelievable deal.
It really was.
I mean, the car was wrecked.
It looked like he'd been racing at Bristol, and he won the race at Daytona.
The car was wrecked. It was puking water. All the gauges were glowing red, and he was still digging.
He had that thing tucked up behind that 6 car, and it didn't matter. He couldn't even see the gauges. And there was steam, and like you said, the lights were flashing, and if it hadn't been for that caution, I don't think he'd have made it.
He is 12th with 42 drivers having taken time in qualifying here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a question about Kurt Busch giving 100%.
Speed is teamed up with your favorite tracks to offer amazing ticket deals you can't get anywhere else. Go to speed.com/deals and check out our incredible inside deal for Watkins Glen International. And then there were 2 remaining in qualifying. And Darrell, you said it. Greg Biffle let it all hang out when he made his practice qualifying run in the 90-minute session we had earlier today.
He got down into 1 pretty sporty, I'd say that.
He got down in there, and the car had that good rotating look, but a little off on the tracker right now.
Yep. That's probably why he looked so good getting in there. He backed off a little bit, maybe. It's going to be an okay run, but not what I thought he had a little something for the pole, but not today.
Decent recovery puts him 10th after lap 1.
Well, right now, he's by far the fastest Ford. In fact, he's the only Ford in the top 15. David Reagan's back in 18th now in the 34 car.
His Roush teammates, you got Carl Edwards back in 20th right now, and you got to go back to 26 to find Matt Kenseth.
Look at that track right there. It's going nuts. Where is he? Where is Alpine? Here he is. Where is he? He's right here.
All that jumping around on the second lap and ends up slow. And Greg Biffle obviously disappointed with his qualifying effort. 28.665 seconds. 132.873 miles per hour.
Yeah, he was not happy about that run. I don't blame him. You can see there, he's just car just getting a little loose. Got
against it and couldn't get off.
I tell you, that wall just sucked him right in.
Yeah, we know it's a disappointing lap for Greg Biffle, and we certainly apologize for his comments on the radio. It can be a frustrating time when you know you've got a good race car and you can't pay it off on track. So 1 car remains. The quickest, Casey Kane, 28.551 seconds. And the man who was fastest in practice earlier today, Kyle Busch, going to be the only one that's got a chance to go and steal the pole away.
Now, he's been doing it, you know, he's been running his Nationwide car today, so.
And he was fast in it.
He was fast in that, baby. This is the spotlight, and this guy loves the spotlight.
And you know what, Darrell? I found it interesting that Kyle said yesterday, yeah, he won the race here in July of 2006, but he said, even though we've been racing this newer style car for 5 years, that I've struggled here ever since we debuted that car back in 2007.
Well, this car has a little higher roll center. It's got a totally different feel than that old car did. This thing wants to roll over like it's wanting to turn over all the time, and that's a feel that some drivers just cannot get comfortable with.
Well, if he wants to knock Casey Kane off the pole, he's got some work to do entering turn 3.
Yeah, you can hear he's really out of the throttle a long time. Car looks a little free right there in the middle of the turn. Just fast enough.
Just fast enough by 3/1000ths of a second.
Boy, you talk about coming back on a lap. 28.548 seconds.
There's no need to run another one when you're the last
when
driver.
you're done. That's right.
I mean, that did not happen to the center of 3 and 4 and off the corner.
Absolutely. He was outside the top 10 midway down the back straightaway. But Kyle Busch with an amazing recovery, and he's fast enough to put it on the pole for Sunday's race here at New Hampshire.